Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, has been reimagined on screen more times than you can shake a maraca. But the question lingers, how many actors have truly captured the essence of the man behind the microphone and the microphone behind the man? It's a tough act to follow, especially when real Elvis left behind no blueprint, only a legacy of iconic images and an unmatched stage presence. Consider the challenge. While many have played Abraham Lincoln, a figure etched in history with speeches and writings, Elvis's portrayal is a trickier endeavor. No one has seen Elvis speak or sing in a way that feels entirely authentic outside of his own recordings and performances. This makes the task for actors not just about mimicking a voice or a set of moves, but about embodying the spirit of a man who revolutionized music and culture. Take Tyler Hilton, for instance. When asked about playing Elvis in the 2005 film I Walk the Line, he pointed out a simple truth. How many guys have played Abraham Lincoln? He wondered. This is a little tougher, he added, touching on the unique difficulty of portraying Elvis. Unlike Lincoln, whose words and thoughts are well documented, Elvis's inner world remains largely a mystery to those who didn't know him personally. Michael Shannon, who played Elvis in Elvis and Nixon, shared insights into the complexities of the role. He described how director Oliver Stone pushed him to dig deep. Michael Shannon worked from the inside out, Stone explained. This approach was crucial because Elvis was a mix of insecurities, obsessions, and a fierce desire for recognition. Shannon's portrayal wasn't just about the glitter and glam, it was about the man's inner turmoil, his jealousy, and his rage, a far cry from the cheerful, if sometimes awkward, Elvis of early television appearances. This depth of character is what makes each portrayal unique. DJ David Mancuso, known for his work in music and TV, humorously noted the sheer number of Elvis projects. Even Frank Stallone, the brother of the other one, has enacted Elvis, he remarked, pointing to the 1976 film Frankie and Johnny. Mancuso's comment highlights how the allure of Elvis has led to countless interpretations, each as valid as the last, even if they feel more like costumes than true portrayals. Marlon Brando, in a rare reflection on biographical films, acknowledged the challenge of capturing a person's true essence. Biographical films omit most of a subject's essence and experiences, he said. Yet, audiences often leave the theater believing they've gained insight into the person portrayed, a testament to the power of film to shape perceptions, even if those perceptions are incomplete. The evolution of Elvis's image is fascinating. Early in his career, his humorless persona was a stark contrast to the flamboyant showmanship he would later become known for. Las Vegas magician Doug Henning noticed this transformation. Before Elvis went Vegas, most people considered him sort of humorless, Henning said. But Elvis's Vegas persona was a bold step, part humor, part rebellion, and entirely his own. His dazzling costumes, a blend of rhinestones and flashy designs, signaled a shift towards a more daring and unapologetic stage presence. Catherine Murray, who worked with Elvis during his Vegas years, recalled his love for the spotlight and his desire for novelty. He was bored with the limelight for so long, she said. His adoption of the gold lame suits, designed by Nudie Cohn, was a statement. These suits, more suited to Liberace than anyone else, became Elvis's signature look. They were a way for him to express himself in a world that often tried to box him in. Elvis's journey wasn't without its critics, however. Helen Forrest, a singer who knew Elvis through his music, commented on his gold lame suit, saying it didn't suit him as well as one might think. After all, it was the straight-jacketed 1950s, she noted, implying that Elvis's flamboyance was a radical departure from the norms of the time. Co-star James Gregory added that Elvis only wore the outfit twice, preferring to mix it up with non-matching pants afterward, showing his reluctance to be pigeonholed. The idea that Elvis's manager, Colonel Parker, might have orchestrated this image is intriguing. Roustabout co-star Barbara Stanwyck suggested, "It strikes me as right up Colonel Parker's alley." Parker was known for his savvy business moves, and the image of Elvis in those dazzling suits was certainly a marketing masterstroke. Beneath the glitz, however, was a man with quirks and habits that humanized him. Scott Larson, a memorabilia collector, shared that Elvis didn't like underwear and had a habit of tearing up fan letters after reading them, shredding them into pieces. These small details paint a picture of a celebrity who, despite his fame, was still very much a person with personal habits and preferences. Not everyone shared the admiration for Elvis's later performances, especially those affected by his personal struggles. A former fan club member, Joni Hannigan, expressed disappointment in Elvis's appearance during a Las Vegas show, noting how his weight and drug use affected his performance. Photographer Helmut Newton witnessed this decline firsthand, saying Elvis's entrance, giggling and forgetting lines, signaled the end of an era. The debate over Elvis's image and legacy continues. Some argue that his image was a deliberate act, a blend of Pentecostal roots and the desire to express himself freely through music. Lyric Green, a classmate of Elvis's, noted how Elvis's singing was a release, a contrast to his often repressed speaking voice. Don Ho, another singer influenced by Elvis, pointed out that Elvis's style was part of a broader shift in music, where emotional expression became key. Elvis's influence also extended beyond music, impacting fashion and culture. Juan Garcia Esquivel, a Mexican composer, observed how Elvis's dark hair made him seem more Latin, broadening his appeal across different cultures. This adaptability was crucial to his global success. In the end, every portrayal of Elvis on screen or in life is a piece of the puzzle. Each actor brings something unique to the role, shaped by their own experiences and interpretations. Whether it's the intensity of Michael Shannon or the humor of David Mancuso, these performances remind us that Elvis was more than just a singer. He was a cultural icon, a man who dared to be different in a world that often rewarded conformity. His legacy continues to inspire, challenge, and entertain, ensuring that the King's story remains as compelling as ever. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, had a unique relationship with his appearance and image. From the very beginning, there were hints that some of his looks might raise eyebrows. A columnist from Jack Warner's time recalled how Elvis resisted the idea of growing a mustache, thinking it made people look foreign. This shows how even small changes in appearance could stir discussions back then. Elvis' hair was another topic of interest. A friend of his hairdresser mentioned that Elvis considered perming his hair, but the Colonel, his manager, stopped it. The Colonel wanted to keep Elvis's image consistent with what people were used to. Change was not on the agenda. Some people close to Elvis shared stories that hinted at his personality and how he handled his fame. A singer known as Del Shannon said Elvis had a test for hairdressers to ensure they wouldn't mess with his look. This suggests Elvis was protective of his image and comfortable only with those who shared his vision. The world of Elvis was largely a male domain when he started out. Author-activist Kate Millett shared thoughts on how this male-centric environment made some women uncomfortable, hinting at underlying tensions about attraction and homophobia that were not openly discussed. Working with Elvis was an experience in itself. An actress who worked with him on a movie described him as someone who kept to himself, performing his lines and then retreating to his dressing room. This portrayal shows Elvis as a private person, despite his public stardom. The designer Edith Head, famous for her work with Hollywood legends, mentioned stopping talking about Elvis because of how often people asked her about him. It's clear his presence left a lasting impression, even if she didn't work closely with him. Actors and those involved in making movies with Elvis also shared their experiences. One actor mentioned Elvis was polite and professional, always on display when working. This highlights the disciplined nature required in the film industry, especially around a star as famous as Elvis. Tennessee Williams, the renowned playwright, based a character on Elvis in one of his plays. He noted how Elvis was more connected to his music than to women, which contrasts with the image often portrayed in the media. Williams also recounted a scene from a movie where Elvis was involved in suggestive content, showing how the boundaries of film were being pushed during that era. A comedian shared a memorable quote from Elvis, suggesting he would have been comfortable discussing sensitive topics if approached correctly. This indicates Elvis had a sharp wit and a willingness to engage with provocative subjects. The death of Elvis in 1977 surprisingly benefited his record sales. Without the focus on his image and weight, people started appreciating his music more. This shift shows how public perception can change, allowing the art to shine through. After his death, Graceland, his iconic home, became a tourist attraction. However, some critics found it commercial and off-putting, noting how it contrasted with the struggles of the nearby community. The commercialization of Elvis's legacy raised questions about respect and profit. Elvis's personal tastes and the management of his estate continued to intrigue people. Some noted his fondness for gaudy decorations and even mentioned a bordello theme in part of Graceland, which was later changed by his ex-wife. This shows how personal spaces can reveal a lot about someone's preferences. The Elvis estate's approach to his image and legacy has been criticized. There are complaints about licensing his image for everything from socks to bowling shirts, suggesting a focus on profit over respect for his art. The estate's actions, like demanding money from casinos to use Elvis's image, reveal a business-driven approach to his legacy. Even in death, Elvis inspired imitators and tribute artists. Some imitated him closely, while others aimed to pay tribute in their own unique ways. This shows how influential Elvis was, inspiring people to connect with his music and image in various ways. Over time, the number of Elvis tribute artists grew dramatically, from a handful in the years following his death to thousands worldwide. This proliferation indicates how Elvis's impact on culture continued long after his passing, with people around the globe finding ways to celebrate his music and spirit. Elvis Presley's life and legacy continue to fascinate and inspire. From his unique style to his groundbreaking music, he left an indelible mark on the world. His story, full of personal struggles and triumphs, reminds us of the power of authenticity and the lasting impact one person can have on history. Elvis Presley's influence on music and culture is undeniable. However, his family's story, particularly that of his grandson Benjamin Keough, paints a somber picture of the pressures and shadows that can follow fame. Benjamin's life, marked by struggle and tragedy, serves as a reminder of the human side behind the legendary figure. Benjamin Keough, the grandson of Elvis Presley, faced challenges that many can relate to, despite his family's famous name. Born to Lisa Marie Presley and singer-songwriter Danny Keough, Benjamin inherited not just a name but also the weight of expectation. From a young age, he was in the spotlight, and this came with its own set of problems. Music journalist Scott Timberg noted that Benjamin's expression was often blank or glum, hinting at the emotional battles he faced. His struggle with chronic depression was a heavy burden. This is not unusual. Many people, especially those under intense scrutiny, find it hard to cope with the pressure. Benjamin's situation was worsened by the constant comparison to his grandfather, a task no one can truly live up to. Benjamin's journey in the music industry was rocky. He signed a major record deal, but it was short-lived and fraught with controversy. Universal Records initially confirmed a deal, but later denied it, suggesting internal conflicts or skepticism about his talent. This is not uncommon in the music business, where deals can be as much about image as they are about ability. Despite this, Benjamin did manage to release some music and even acted in a few projects, including one with his family. However, his career did not take off as hoped. Music journalist Scott Timberg described him as someone who doesn't seem to be pursuing anything really, suggesting a lack of direction and passion in his work. This can be heartbreaking, especially for someone who grew up watching his grandfather captivate audiences. The pressure to emulate Elvis was a significant factor in Benjamin's life. His grandmother, Elvis's daughter Lisa Marie, struggled with her own demons, which likely affected Benjamin. The expectations placed on him by family and fans were immense. As Andrea Robb, a fan and psychology major, pointed out, the constant comparison and pressure could take a toll on anyone. Tragically, Benjamin's life ended in a manner that echoed the past. He took his own life at the age of 27, a fate that mirrors the tragic end of his grandfather's younger days, though in a different setting. The autopsy revealed the presence of cocaine and alcohol, substances that often cloud judgment and exacerbate mental health issues. This is a painful reminder of how substance abuse can intertwine with mental health struggles. Elvis himself once said, the fans, they don't know my pain." Benjamin's story illustrates this pain all too well. While Elvis could express his struggles through his music and public persona, Benjamin seemed to struggle more in silence. Elvis once mentioned that he wanted to build a chapel where fans could meditate, seeking a place of peace. Unfortunately, Benjamin's journey ended without that sanctuary. The legacy of Elvis Presley is vast and multifaceted, but it also includes the personal struggles of his family. The music world often shines a spotlight on the glamour and success, but it's important to remember the human stories behind the stars. Benjamin Keough's life and death remind us that fame can cast long shadows, affecting not just the famous but also their loved ones. In the end, Elvis's music continues to resonate, but the tale of his family serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities of fame, the importance of mental health support, and the enduring impact of one man's life on generations to come.